Don't be intimidated by the fancy name. Beef bourguignon is just a classic beef stew. What makes this different than another one you might have made before is the main addition of Burgundy wine. Classically, if you're making a true beef bourguignon, you need to use wine from the Burgundy region of France. I'm not gonna tell if you use a cheap red wine from down the street, okay? For this recipe, you just need to start with about 2 pounds of chuck roast. And you just take your beef chuck roast and just cube it up. Just grab yourself a large bowl, and we're just gonna make the marinade right in the bowl and add our beef, make room in the fridge, and let it sit for a couple days. 3 cups of the good red wine. To the wine, I'm adding in a couple tablespoons of brandy, and then we're just gonna flavor it up. I've got 2 onions that I've thinly sliced, a couple carrots chopped up, a sprig of parsley, a bay leaf, 10 peppercorns. If you have 11, it's gonna be a bad day. And then 1 clove of garlic crushed up. And then just a teaspoon of salt. Just give that a stir and add in your beef. And then you just wanna press it down so it's fully submerged. Cover it up, make sure no air is getting in. Fridge, 2 days. And by the magic of television, here is a bowl of beef that I marinated 2 days ago. You can see how the beef has taken on a whole new color. First, we're gonna remove the beef from the marinade. I've just got a pan lined with paper towels so that I can kind of dry it out. We are gonna brown this beef, so you don't want it wet at all. That way it can achieve the color. The flavor's already been absorbed. All right, I've removed the beef, and now I'm gonna strain out the vegetables, and we're going to reserve the marinade. We are not throwing these vegetables away. We're also gonna add these to the stew later. This is a no-waste process. Everything gets flavor again. That's it, our prep is done. The wait is over. Now let's get cooking. First thing you're gonna wanna do is to heat up a large skillet, and then make sure your marinated beef is nice and dry. You'll know it's ready to flip when it easily releases from the pan. It kind of tells you when it's ready and good and crusty. This process will take about 10 minutes. Once your beef is browned, you're gonna remove it with a slotted spoon and just put it into a bowl off to the side. That's what you want, all that crusty gold. You can already see the flavor that's developing on the skillet, and we're just gonna keep that going. I'm going in with about a 1/4 pound of chopped bacon, and we're gonna cook that just in the same drippings. All right, once your bacon is lightly browned, I'm gonna remove it to the same bowl as the meat and then drain off the grease. We're gonna use this marinade to deglaze the skillet. I'm gonna scrape up all those little brown bits of goodness. All right, once you've deglazed the pan, now we're just gonna take this and bring it back to that reserved marinade. To that, I'm going to add in our reserved veggies from the marinade along with a little more chopped onion. It might be a bit of a process, but the ingredients are super simple, and it's just gonna show you what a little time and effort does. We're gonna take these veggies out and add them to our meat mixture. And now we make the gravy where all this is gonna cook in together. You're gonna add some flour to any drippings you have left. If you don't have any left, just add in a little more oil. Then get your flour in, let that cook up for a couple minutes. And we're gonna cook this until it's nice and golden brown. Once your flour has taken on a little bit of color, we'll add in some tomato paste, about a tablespoon. This is gonna really help lift up any remaining flavor that's on the bottom of the pan. A couple cloves of garlic smashed, some beef broth. All you need to make this dish is thyme. You don't need a large skill set or anything like that. Nothing has been hard. It's just a labor of love. Season to taste with salt and pepper. I'll let that come to a boil just so the flour can activate and let it thicken a little bit. We're gonna combine all this together and put it in the oven. At this point, everything comes together in a casserole dish or any sort of Dutch oven, whatever you've got on hand. A 9x13 will work great. This goes into the oven at 300 degrees for about 3 hours. You're gonna stir it occasionally, you know, every time you get up to get a snack or something like that. Give it a little stir. If too much of the liquid starts to evaporate out, just simply add water or a little more beef broth. It's almost time to serve the beef bourguignon. The final step is to saute some mushrooms and add it to the mixture. So I've got 4 tablespoons of butter, get that melted. I'm just using a mixture of button mushrooms and cremini mushrooms. Whatever mushrooms you want will work just fine here. We're not gonna salt our mushrooms because I don't wanna draw out all that water or they'll just steam. I'm looking to get some browning on them, so you don't wanna add any seasoning. Plus there's so much flavor in that stew, we're good to go. The wait is over. The mushrooms are sauteed. The beef is out. It's all going together. Just look at that rich, meaty gravy. Who needs filet mignon when you've got this? There's nobody that would not be happy to have this served to them. You can serve this over rice or potatoes. My favorite way is over some egg noodles that have been buttered a little bit. Brighten it up a little bit. It's been cooking for a while in that oven. We're gonna wake it back up with some fresh parsley. Definitely a perfect bite worth savoring. I'm going straight in for the meat. I think Julia Child would be proud of this. Then you got those noodles that can soak up all that gravy. It's rich, it is so full of flavor, it literally does melt in your mouth. You will savor every bite. This is one of the best things I have made in a long time, and it will be for you too. You've got to try it. Borf.